Is it possible as a human being we can live beyond 100 years? You can live 100 years plus, but does it matter how you live? We need, as a human race today, focus on our lifestyle. There are a number of institutions which have come up propagating diet, protein diet, low-fat diet. Is it really needed all this? We have to learn the modern advances happening in terms of anti-aging. So when somebody can be CEO of 94, it really gives you that insight why age is not a limit to what you can perform and what you can show. We are on the road to reversal of aging. Immortality has always been a subject of great discussion. There has been fictional write-up, there has been movies, documentaries, and in the past we always talked about communicable disorders. Mortality in children, maternal mortality, infant mortality. But today we are over that period. There are no communicable diseases with a major impact. Today it is a lifestyle disease. So I would like to take a step back and really look at what are the possible causes of death today and how we can postpone it. Is it possible as a human being we can live beyond 100 years? Is 100 years only a post? Somebody said, okay, human lifespan is 100 years. We just set it up 100 years. One of the recent Nobel laureate, Venkatraman, has written a book called Why We Die. In that he describes how we can live up to 120 years. Is it really possible? What does lifespan mean? What is quality of life? You can live 100 years plus, but does it matter how you live? What is the quality of life? It's called health span. So we need to dissect all this to truly understand the meaning of living long. In this, let us, as a doctor, as an oncologist, I have done significant amount of work in terms of longevity, genomics. Why do some people die? And why at an young age certain diseases come? How does the environment play a factor? These are all issues we are scratching the surface to understand. But let me take a simple version. I do know before I say that there are institutes for longevity, research institutes happening even in a country like India. But I want to simplify and address this problem. When you take death, cardiac disease used to be the most terrifying. Why does cardiac death happen? You call it heart attack. Why does a heart attack happen? It is a small coronary blood vessels which gets blocked. It could be related to cholesterol, genetics, other reasons. And because of that, the blood supply to certain heart muscle is cut off. It goes into a shock. People may die. So what is the best thing? A plumbing job. Keep the arteries flowing. Keep the arteries with good blood supply. Heart attack may not happen. So how do we create an environment where cholesterol is less, arteries are clear, there is no clogging, they can live long. Heart will not give a problem. The other problem with heart is cardiomyopathy, which are all very rare. So essentially, it is the heart attack we have to prevent, so-called heart attack. Then we look at brain, we call dementia, Alzheimer's disease. Again, it is related to plaque formation, amyloid. If we can keep the plumbing job well, they may not develop these kind of disorders which can interfere with their quality of life, health span. Now, it may be, of course, I may be simplifying it, but it may be more complicated. But essentially, I call it simplicity in complexity. We have to simplify and understand this. There is, of course, a role for genomics. What is the genetics you're born with may interfere, but sometimes we have individuals who are very healthy. A healthy person can also have death for unforeseen circumstances. But today I'm not going to discuss about it. I'm going to take a common sense approach and go on what are the possible remedies. So we talked about two things: dementia, Alzheimer's, cardiac issue. Then let's talk about lung. We actually require only 1/4 of 25% of the lung, which is enough. So lung disease can be easily prevented if you don't smoke, if you are not exposed to toxins. Essentially, it is highly preventable. Then we talk about liver. If you have no alcoholism, if you don't have hepatitis, if you have got a good healthy liver, even quarter of a liver is enough for a human being to survive. Similarly, kidneys. We don't require 2 kidneys. In fact, we have abundance of kidneys. So we don't require. Of course, then there is the malady cancer. Of course, when we look at cancer, we are still in the works of understanding why inflammation causes cancer. We know inflammation is the common cause of cancer, like it is for cardiac diseases, Alzheimer's. So we are on the verge of understanding this disease and see how we can even prevent cancer. Not only that, how we can also treat cancer so people with cancer disease can live longer. But when we really look at lifestyle diseases like cancer, diabetes, which is very common in India today, and diabetes related, we call it nephropathy, retinopathy. It affects the arteries, the blood vessels, different organs. I think obviously the old dictum, prevention is better than cure. We need, as a human race today, focus on our lifestyle. What does that mean? There are a few things. One is mind and body. So it is very important you coordinate with your mind and body in a positive approach, positive attitude to look at healthiness. Today I am 73. I have done 7 marathons, and I am very proud to say even at this age I can do half marathon easily. But I am not a fanatic in terms of workouts. I believe you don't have to be a fanatic. You may also meet my mother today, who is 96, and she was never into exercise. Why is she living 96 with good understanding? She also does bicycling, stationary bike, she walks, she reads, mentally very astute. How is it possible? Is it genes or is it more than that? I think in life it is yin-yang. When you do anything in balance, moderation, whether it is exercise, workout, excessive workouts possibly causing death, is it possible you can establish a balanced life in terms of what kind of workout you do? Is it possible you have a balance in terms of your eating habits? We talk about today intermittent fasting. We talk about various types of eating habits. Is it really needed all this? Or can we use a simple solution? Like you eat what you like, but eat in a limited way and do not overeat. Learn to take the plate away when you have eaten sufficient, tasted the food. Is that possible? I think it is possible. All of this in terms of eating habits, good nutrition, workout, and mental stimulation. How do you keep your brain active? Even sleep. You need a limited amount of sleep, but you don't need anything in excess. Do you need to really sleep a lot? No. In fact, permanent sleep is coming. So it is a symbiotic relationship between the mind and body, which really, in my view, provides you high quality of life and positivity. Each day you should make it as fun day. So you have to really, in a way, monitor yourself. And I think that is truly health span in my view. So in this regard, we don't have to become also obsessed with it. Obsessive compulsive neurosis we should not have. We should not also become too much reading into these kind of dietary things. It can only confuse. So my message to a common person is follow some of these basic ideas. Also now there are some wonderful drugs. I would like to spend some time talking about what are the type of drugs available, which have now been, for example, there are drug called semaglutide group of drugs, which have now come for treatment of diabetes. So is it really for diabetes, or can it also make a change in terms of weight and longevity? We believe drugs like semaglutide, metformin are truly longevity drugs. Why? Because they are anti-inflammatory, they improve the blood supply, and also they cut down the stem cells from recent research. Particularly metformin, for example, it could be anti-aging, it could be cancer anti, and of course there is the concept that telomerase, whether they will prevent the shortening of these telomeres. So these are all the things we need to understand and talk about it more and more, but in a very simple way. We have to learn the modern advances happening in terms of anti-aging, particularly in terms of new medications, and how do we effectively use it in combination with your lifestyle. Nothing will work if you don't have a balanced lifestyle. Balanced lifestyle, whatever medications you require, the combination, I think, will give us the road to longevity. So we need to understand this, dissect this more. But in the future, as we move forward, there is of course AI, artificial intelligence. What kind of a role AI will play? Can it do algorithms, give us predictive analysis about our age? As we grow, can a newborn be told how long they're going to live? By recent study in advanced countries, people say newborn will live up to 90 years. So what is it makes them live long like 90 years? But is 90 years acceptable, or should we go beyond that? Of course, there is the question on impact on the society. If people live long, what happens to society? Will there be overcrowding? Is there a population issue? And how do we take care of elderly people? Birth rate should also be there to take care of the elderly. These are all the socio-economic issues which I am not going to discuss today, but it is suffice to say, today with advances in medical technology, with the knowledge we have, with the understanding we have, we are on the road to reversal of aging. I think we are on the road. At one time when I was growing up, people used to say retirement age is 55. At 55 you are done. Today, it is 60, 62. But I feel it is never should be a limited. It should not limit on the age, but it should be biological age of the person you are trying to retire. The person can be efficient, work till their 80s and 90s. Recently, I know Warren Buffett, one of the great investors, retired from being a CEO at the age of 94 or so. So when somebody can be CEO of 94, it really gives you that insight why age is not a limit to what you can perform and what you can show. It should be individualized. It should be looked at a biological clock, and I hope in future we will continue to live longer and look at how productive we can make to the society, and also have some fun while we are living long and spend time with our family, our children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, friends. I hope that is the future in a peaceful society. Thank you very much.